Hello, and we're wishing you a particularly good Sunday from Radically Rational and radicallyrational.com. We'll start with sports, which, as you know, in my mind, means we start with football. And I'm looking forward to the NFL season. I can't tell you how much. It's been a really interesting offseason so far. Okay, so no team from the NFC South is going to win the Super Bowl. In fact, no team from the NFC South is going to go to the Super Bowl. But that division is going to be so much fun to watch and so competitive. In my mind, the only team that can't win the division title is the Bucs, and even they will have their moments from time to time. The Panthers, the Saints, really intriguing. And the team in that division that really has captured my imagination is the Falcons. They're pretty well set and good to go, and I'm really impressed with their head coach, Arthur Smith. So here it is for the Falcons. Their quarterback, Desmond Ridder, all he has to do is just not stink out loud, and that will be a very exciting team. Still, expectations in Atlanta are somewhat tempered. That's not the case in Detroit. They got go fever in the Motor City, and that's justified. That's an exciting young team. But also, that team could fall on its face still because they are the Lions, and there is an inordinate amount of pressure on the Lions. The good news is their coach is Dan Campbell, and he will keep them fired up and on the straight and narrow. Now, on the other end of the temp scale, there's the Buffalo Bills. And actually, the temperature has been turned down a little bit for them as we head into the season. And that could be a good thing because it relieves some pressure. Getting Von Miller back is going to be a good thing. There's no doubt about that. He says he'll be ready to go coming off his knee surgery. And then Ed Oliver, the big defensive tackle from BB's Houston Cougars, he is maddeningly inconsistent, but he is also very talented, and they signed him to a 4-year extension yesterday, so that's a good thing. Speaking of the Bills in Buffalo, this is cool. You tell me how cool it is. Buffalo area tackle football teams now have an AED, that's an automated external defibrillator. 50 teams have been given these highly advanced devices, and that is thanks to Damar Hamlin and his dad, Mario. Okay, under new offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, the Ravens say they're confident that they will have a more NFL-level passing game this year. Oh, I'll take that bet. There's no question about it. No yard can hold Aaron Judge. And apparently no outfield fence can either. Did you see that catch he made yesterday? That guy's not afraid to risk his body. I am impressed. So that was a salami for Bregman. And the Astros are rolling. They've won 3 straight. They'll try to finish up a 4-game sweep over the Angels at high noon today at Minute Maid. And finally, as far as sports is concerned, they say an NBA playoff series doesn't really start until a road team wins a game. So by that standard, it's not going to start tonight either. Ain't happening. Okay, this Trumpian national nightmare is not going to end until and unless Republicans face the fact that he is just not viable in a general election. But to realize that, you have to have rudimentary math skills, something these cultists have yet to exhibit. You know, it's one thing to be exasperated with somebody. It's another thing to almost start feeling sorry for them. This DeSantis obsession with the word woke, it was a curiosity before. Now it's just an embarrassment. And here's an Ivy League educated guy that is dependent on a word that he can't define and that none of his supporters can either. But because they're afraid of everything, they know they're supposed to be afraid of woke. And you do understand this. Their every thought, their every action, their every position, their every policy is based on the fact that they're afraid of everything. And that's why they walk around like blustering bullies. Okay, remember the 1970s, early 1970s, Johnny Nash from Houston, Texas hit "Steer It Up, Little Darling." Chris Christie's gonna be the spoon here. And I can't wait to see this. They say that styles make fights. Christie's style is going to tie Trump up in knots. And here's what I love about Christie. There's some things I most assuredly do not love about Christie, but he's not afraid to take some as long as he gives some. He will wade in there. He'll let Trump hit him. He don't care. So this is what's going to happen. And pardon my French here, and we'll see how it actually comes out of my mouth. I may go the full Monty on it or not. But here's a situation where one fat F is going to F up the other fat F. And I can't wait. Now, Christie ain't going to win, but he may determine who does. And he's the only candidate out there right now that is not afraid to bust Trump square in the mouth. Little Nikki will get her moments in. And you know who I want to hear from? And we haven't, but we're going to, and often, and it will be effective. I want to hear from Liz Cheney, American. I do. All right, so I saw Joe Walsh on TV last night. Not that Joe Walsh. No, the other Joe Walsh, the former Congressman Joe Walsh. And he nailed it. This was so beautiful. He said, and I'm somewhat paraphrasing here, Republicans are so far over the edge that they now support candidates exclusively in direct proportion to how big an unhinged asshole they are. That's good. I mean, not even Einstein could have come up with a neater and cleaner equation. S equals AV squared. Support equals ass times velocity squared. Life's been good to me so far. Have a good one. We're Radically Rational.